As a former director from Morgan Stanley, I know exactly what it takes to be an excellent first-time manager, as I've done many times in my roles in the industry. So let me talk you through this in this video with 3 top tips for anyone out there who's being a manager for the very first time. Number 1, you need to lead by example, right? So you need to be able to inspire others and provide them with a vision of the company's vision. When you're leading your juniors, you need to be enthusiastic about working with them. Sometimes you might have work projects that aren't the most interesting, that can be a bit tedious or long or cumbersome, and they might take a lot of time to do them. But you need to kind of get your juniors invested in doing the work, particularly now. You know, there's a lot of stereotypes about the younger generations now, Gen Z or even some millennials not being that motivated about work. But you need to help them become a bit motivated by understanding the broader context, how it could help their career, how it could help their visibility with senior management by doing an effective job on a particular project. So you need to have a strong vision of what the company is, where it's growing, convey that to your juniors and make sure they're enthusiastic about engaging in certain work topics and projects that they might be on. You need to also demonstrate that you yourself are a good leader and you have a strong work ethic yourself. You need to lead from the front, the same way a general is leading an army from the front. Another thing is you need to effectively earn the respect of both groups, which would be, well, 3 groups when you're at work, right? Which would be your management, your juniors, and also people at your level, right? So your peers. And that's quite an important thing to do. And that's why you have to have like a 360 approach of, okay, how does my management perceive me? How do my juniors perceive me? And how do my co-workers at the same level as myself perceive me? And that's when all those soft skills come into account, right? How are you communicating with others, occasionally going for a work drink with others, keeping up to date with the office politics and there might be a bit of drama in the workplace, being aware of the changing social dynamics. So those are all important things you need to bear in mind by leading by example and being aware of your surroundings. Now, point number 2 is you need to be very effective when it comes to communication. So, for example, you need to have a clear and positive communication with others, minimize any type of conflicts and unnecessary drama at work, and inspire some confidence in your co-workers. And that's why communication is such a big skill for managers. And typically you have people who will be very highly technically skilled, be excellent at the job, know all the details, but they don't make it to the management level because their communication skills are not great, which we see time and time again in the corporate world. And a lot of people who are good technically, they get quite frustrated that people who aren't that good at the job, but they're good communicators, they understand how to play office politics and deal with others, they get put forward for the management roles just because they're good at being a people person. So communication is quite an important skill to have. Again, it will help you manage those difficult office politics. And if you're in the corporate world, particularly within finance, you're dealing with a lot of difficult personalities, right? And a lot of tight deadlines. So you need to be able to manage those by, for example, requesting that your manager, that you get an extension on a particular project to get it done with an extended deadline, because maybe it takes more time for you to extract certain information you might be needing from your various systems, from various contacts you have at the firm. And also you have very difficult personalities. You know, you have people who are in very powerful positions, might have incredible stress and pressure on themselves to do work, to meet their own financial obligations, right? Achieve goals for the company, pay off expensive mortgages and pay for their various expenses outside of work, right? I've been on the trading floor for many years, working with managing directors and who are head of trading desks, head of sales, and we might from the outside perceive these people as, oh, they're extremely wealthy, they've got an easy life, but not really. They have a lot of stress and they can be quite difficult and aggressive in the workplace, or passive aggressive. They might try to undermine you. So you need to be very careful of how you manage those personalities by having good communication and remaining calm when they can be stressed or aggressive with you. Because, as I say, they've got a lot of pressure on their head and a lot of financial expectation on themselves that you need to understand. They've got their own pressure to deal with, even if they are quite well paid. Now, point number 3 is, if you want to be an excellent first-time manager, you need to be very results-orientated. So if you're a leader, you need to focus on achieving measurable outcomes and exceeding the targets. So if you're set a target by your manager, make sure you're kind of running ahead of schedule, just in case any hiccups or unforeseen circumstances occur, where maybe you're working on a project, you're trying to push something forward. All of a sudden there's a week delay, maybe you're sick, maybe a co-worker's out of the office. You need to be able to deal with those scenarios effectively by, pushing forward and working ahead of the schedule, because anything could come that would push you behind schedule effectively. And you need to focus on the team in terms of what is the team project, what is the team's goals. So you're seen as a team player and helping the team achieve the results and the goals have been set with that year. Now, again, so you need to track the results for yourself. I would track it in an Excel file. Maybe you have a team project tracker, things like that. Something to track the work you're doing and the progress you're making. Because at any point you might be pulled into a meeting with senior management or what you're working on, and you can summarize it effectively if you've already been making a note of it. When you're writing your performance review, if you make a note throughout the year what you're doing, it's easier to write that performance review at the end of the year. And you need to think, okay, each day, what is my goal today? What is my goal for this week, this month, this quarter, this year? So you can keep climbing the corporate ladder, because it's easy to get bogged down in the day-to-day. You're working on a million different things. You forget and lose track of the broader goal, whether it's you getting promoted, you completing a project, you moving from a mid-level manager to a senior manager. You need to kind of always think, what is the goal today? And what is the goal moving forward? So just to summarize, if you want to be an excellent first-time manager, based on my experience as a director, previously working at Morgan Stanley, on the trading floor and working within sales and trading, these are the top 3 tips. You need to lead by example and inspire others through that process. Have effective communication so you're positively perceived by your peers, by your juniors and your seniors and your senior management. And point number 3, you need to be very results orientated. Always focus on the results so you can prove your worth to the company you're working for and keep yourself motivated and driven that every day you're taking one step in the right direction. Thanks for listening. Check out the 2 recommended videos on your screen right now, the free ebook in the description, and I'll see you next time.